Curtis DIYer.
DIYers, after a full year of GNX taking over, hip hop, music in general, we are finally getting some behind the scenes information about how the process came together, because up until now, none of us really knew where the hell this project came from. There was no pre-promotion. I guess just one of the biggest rap battles of all time, but we didn't know it was leading to a project called GNX. Well, Variety did an article where they talked to Jack Adanoff, DJ Mustard, and Soundwave, who the primary producers are on GNX, and they talked to them about the process. One thing that was really interesting, and we're going to get to this project or get to this article, is that they said that they went through almost 80 to 100 songs of recording with Kendrick to get down to the 12 songs that we got on GNX. I'm going to tell you why that's not a surprise to me, but let's go ahead and cook it. So the article says in November 2024, Kendrick's sixth album, GNX, arrived as big records often do these days, with little warning other than a teaser video that dropped less than an hour before the surprise release. But for those under the rapper's cone of silence for the past 3 years, GNX was the culmination of hard work and collaboration that met the moment head on. It makes me wonder if the foundation of these records were already done, and if they just said, let's wait on the features last minute, because, niggas can't shut their mouth. Somebody finna leak something and say something. So, you know what? I think we got to strategically bring these features in at the very last moment, because a lot of these photos were popping up, and it looked like it was from the same time period in which they were finalizing the project. That's actually a pretty brilliant plan, if you think about it. Lamar, fresh from arguably the most high-profile beef in hip-hop history, the one with Drake that reached a fever pitch last year. I like how they mentioned the one with Drake, because he's in a very different position of popularity today. The one with that one guy, Drake. Remember him? Delivered an album that invoked the sounds of West Coast rap music while recentering the national spotlight on his native Compton. The reaction was nothing short of rapturous. He has secured 9 Grammy nominations for 2026, including Album of the Year and Song and Record of the Year. And he performed at the Super Bowl last February, taking a victory lap on the biggest stage in the world. Lamar, of course, couldn't have done it without his musical hive mind, primarily Soundwave, who's been with him from day one. Jack Adanoff, who I believe did 616 in LA and a few other records during the battle, also has worked with Taylor Swift and DJ Mustard, who are collectively being honored as Variety's Hitmaker Producers of the Year. Each has had stellar runs as titans in different corners of music. Soundwave has been Lamar's most consistent production collaborator since 2009 and contributed to records from Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Adanoff only recently came into Lamar's orbit, but has become Pop's go-to collaborator on albums from Sabrina Carpenter, Lana Del Rey. Mustard brought the sound of contemporary LA hip-hop to records like Lamar's Not Like Us and TV Off, after years of architecting the style with artists like YG and Ty Dolla $ign. Together, they helped craft one of the most singular and impactful rap albums in years. Work on GNX began almost immediately after the release of Lamar's 2022 album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. That's interesting, because I came with the theory, and I feel like it just continues to age like fine wine, that Mr. Morale was a very intentional album, not just because of the stories that he was going to tell that were probably the most vulnerable that he's told as an artist, talking about Kendrick Lamar, but it kind of felt like there were certain warnings that were being put in these songs. Stop playing with me before I turn you to a song. Stop playing with me before I turn you to a song. Even messages that it felt like he was dedicating to the industry in general, like if it all goes to hell, then I'm going down with it. Then, like I'm finna take y'all down with me. It just felt like there were a lot of messages throughout the lyrics that made this feel like it was almost like that scene in 8 Mile where Eminem dissed himself. I am from that trailer park, man. My friend Cheddar Bob, did shoot himself. It almost felt like he put all this stuff out there in preparation of a battle that was probably going to happen between him and Drake. I'd go to the grave believing that. With the rapper collaborating closely with Soundwave and Adanoff, a pair who first connected around 2015 for Bleacher's sophomore album, Gone Now. We have such a specific language between us, me, and Soundwave, says Adanoff. And then we developed our own thing. The three of us, you have it or you don't with people. When you have it, it's really magical. When you don't, you go home. The trio spent years toiling on what Soundwave estimates was somewhere between 80 and 100 songs.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Excuse me? 80 to 100 songs until it got cut down to the 12 that we got on GNX. And once you go back to it, doesn't that sound like a polished project? When we were all speculating about when this project was made, we started seeing features pop up. There were some people who were like, it must have been made within the last month or so. I'm like, there's no way in hell you get this type of dedication to the details. This type of polish takes time. It takes a lot of revisiting, sometimes bringing an in-studio musician to replay some parts from a sample you couldn't clear. There's so many steps that go into music that is made like that. That music is made to last. So 80 to 100 songs tells me two things. One, they've been working on this, as it already said. And two, does that mean we getting a GNX Deluxe? Because there's a lot of songs in there I'm sure that we would all love to hear. Huh? Yeah, I hope so. Later pared down to the dozen that made GNX. They would snag batches of time in the studio and created their own weird little secret society, recalls Adnoff. Not in pursuit of a specific sound, but seeing where the process took them. The beginning of it was throwing paint on the wall, says Soundwave, and it started to form this massive, funky West groove that we love because Kendrick and I are from Compton. And in that, I started to realize the people who we should bring in to push it even further, like Mustard and the Jacks. I was very fortunate to have these friends who are very talented to push it to the next level. One thing about Soundwave, and he's definitely, showing a lot of appreciation for his collaborators. Soundwave can make anything by itself. I've seen him do it. He's produced a record for me at one point in time, a very early record that is on curtisking.bandcamp.com. What the hell is it called? That's on the Big Drums Knock project. What the hell is the name of that song? Why is it escaping me? Doesn't matter. Not about me right now. But what I will tell you is that he is a supremely talented musician. One of the coolest people you're going to ever meet. Laid back, doesn't make a big deal about stuff. He just puts in the work. I've seen him go from different styles of records, from the ADHDs to the Michael Jordan, and seen him do all these different styles. So for him to make sure that these folks were a part of the process, you could tell the goal was to get to the best product possible. It goes on to say, along with Not Like Us, which dropped at the height of Lamar's contratemps? The hell is that? With Drake, must be issues with Drake. 2 songs on GNX, Luther featuring SZA and TV Off featuring Lefty Gunplay became among the biggest hits this year, according to Illuminate. Not Like Us set the stage for the shape of the album, released to be to the surprise of Mustard after he had been sending Lamar beats for years. I knew that I couldn't send Kendrick normal Buster beats, he says. His instrumental that became the backbone for Lamar's Hey Now, for instance, had been passed over by Quavo and YG. Damn, I wonder how they feel. Like, I wasn't gonna do that. Like Quavo, I wasn't gonna do that for that record. That shit crazy. Tied Out a Sign cut an unreleased song over the beat. I want to hear that. I was sending Kendrick all types of shit. Anything that I thought sounded like something that I've never made before. That's what I was going for because Kendrick is different. Amid the swaths of ideas that Mustard would text Lamar directly were 2 instrumentals later combined to make TV Off. So that was a conscious decision to make those a part 1 and a part 2 on that song. Interesting. Which went viral on the back of Lamar screaming Mustard's name at the beat switch. Mustard recalls creating the first half of the song in the same month that he produced Not Like Us. Oh, you were possessed that month.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
DJ Mustard was possessed that month. Under the possession of what? I don't know. But according to him, in the same month that man produced Not Like Us, he said, let me do another diddly called the first part of TV Off. Oh, you were possessed, sir. That is insane. And he worked on the second part as an idea for his own album. As with Not Like Us, he heard the completed TV Off for the first time along with the rest of the world. I never asked Jack or Wave to put these 2 beats together, or Kendrick, he says. Soundwave says it was Lamar's idea. That's how you get co-production credits. I care, but I don't care. I was just like, that was great. I mean, after somebody like Kendrick gets you with Not Like Us, you tend to trust the direction. Not that he can't bring valuable input, but you tend to trust your direction. Like, you got it, bro. Hey, man, you say it's gonna work, it's gonna work. Shit. The GNX magic happened in a studio where Lamar, Etnoff, and Soundwave collaborated, particularly for Luther, one of the biggest hits of 2025. And also, too, I'm going to go ahead and say that was the song of the summer.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
For those of you searching for a mainstream moment that it doesn't happen in the death of a society that doesn't have these kind of mainstream moments anymore, that's your song of the summer, if you ask me. The record is built around a sample of Luther Vandross and Cheryl Lynn's 1982 rendition of If This World Were Mine, a song that Lamar and Soundwave had wanted to flip since 2017's Damn. Luther came together as something of a groupthink exercise. It makes me wonder, what if the first version of Luther, if it was supposed to be for Damn in 2017, what if it was intended for Rihanna? Since he did that song, what was the name of the song he did with Rihanna on that project? One of you guys remind me. I wonder if that was supposed to be originally something that he envisioned as a collaboration between rapper and singer, but having Rihanna on it. Loyalty, there it is, Loyalty. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. That'd have been kind of interesting as well, but SZA killed that. Producer Rosalia sent a pack of beats mined for a kick and a snare. Soundwave chopped up the sample. M-Tech replayed chords on the piano. Ink came up with the melodies for SZA parts. It was a spiritual experience, says Soundwave, because of how everybody just fell in. Everything we added was just like the perfect piece to that record. Atnoff, for his part, densely laid in bits of guitar and mellotron. Mellotron is such a beautiful keyboard instrument to build out of the world of Luther. If you really listen to the record, obviously Kendrick and SZA are right there, and the beats right there in the melody, he says, but there's all this stuff dancing around like in between them. I wanted to go overboard with the presentation of how special it could be. I ended up sitting alone for a really long time carving out all these little spaces. The meticulous nature of GNX only intensified as the record sped towards completion. Atnoff recalls working on final mixes as late as 4 a.m, just hours before the album's release.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Hey, this nigga Kendrick was stressing people out in 2024. He was stressing people out. I seen all the skits of producers who were trying to get producers were imagining how it was to be an engineer trying to get these diss songs out immediately and how much they was getting worked. Like, oh, we gotta drop another song. We gotta drop another one. Imagine how stressed you gotta be to be mixing a record called GNX just hours before the album's release. I mean, I guess that's probably better because nobody knew it was coming. So, maybe it just wouldn't have even mattered. They just drop another day. Its impact was instantly tangible. Luther held court atop the Billboard Hot 100 for 13 weeks, while Not Like Us picked up Grammys for Song and Record of the Year. And I'm so glad Not Like Us wasn't on GNX, because I felt like that was going to give too much bait, it was going to give too much to the other side who were trying to tear down anything that he did successfully. And I think it would have made that album more about Not Like Us than all the amazing records that happened in the process. I'm really glad he separated that and let that moment just be that moment within the battle, because he had other records after that were completely different. But for the producers who helped bring GNX to life, it signified that taking risks sonically and creatively was the only path forward. It basically shows that there's no boundaries, says Soundwave. We hate to just keep doing the same thing over and over. It's something we kind of thrive off of, just reinventing yourself. Do stuff that makes it exciting, and people who supported you will be excited with you. Ain't that the truth? I kid you not, yesterday there was a 60-year-old woman driving down the street rapping a GNX song word for word. I wonder if it was GNX.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I wonder if it was that one. I wonder if she was rapping I wonder if she was rapping. What verse was she rapping? Let me know in the comments. What verse you think she was rapping? Word for word? Peekaboo. I can see that one. Just to see that my home is still playing it as if it just came out, that's special. Yeah, that was a beautifully regional record. So it just goes on to say all the folks involved in these records, but that's such an incredible article to get information on, because they're really tight-lipped about all the information that circulates around it. I understand it. Like, you want to make sure that you control the narratives, because people will spin things all day long. You know what can't get spun though? Google just released information about who were the most Googled people on Earth last year. Guess who was number 2 most Googled person on Earth? Well, that would be a certain Kendrick Lamar, the second most searched person in the world on Google in 2025 and the most searched rapper of the year. What? Let me put that into perspective for you. You put Belt, who was number 1? David and his creepy ass. Yeah, that one. Yeah, for obvious reasons. We ain't talked about that story. We're going to leave it. That creepy ass David. Yeah, but number 2 search person in the world is insanity. For somebody who doesn't do interviews, for somebody who's not on everybody's podcast, for somebody who doesn't pop off on Twitter, for somebody who doesn't have to make himself the center of attention for people to focus in on him, for somebody who just clocks in, does the work, does the shows, sells the shows out. Even when there's negative publicity, he don't go clear up shit. And he's still the most searched. I think that just speaks to the law of attraction. I think that speaks to when you are moving with confidence and you're moving with purpose, it's hard to be knocked off your peg. It's hard to be knocked out of your spot because people are trying to figure you out and they can't figure you out. Like, I don't feel like I understand him anymore since last year in terms of, he's probably gonna, I don't know nothing. And I've met the man on many occasions. I don't know nothing. And I think that's exactly how you want it to be when you're in that position of power and influence. You want to make sure you keep the people guessing. I think that is the key to longevity. Unless you want to resort to shenanigans like a Kanye West, because he does any and everything to stay relevant in the conversation. I think there's other ways to go about it, and he is definitely showing there's another way. Shout out to all the producers that are disclosing all the stuff that's going on. Was there anything surprising that you saw in the midst of this article? Please let me know in the comments. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.